right, everybody. I'd like to welcome Evan, aka Vanader, to the Incubator. Evan is on a mission to help people start their own business. Whether you're in the United States or India, it doesn't matter. He's helping you learn how to create your own business. Well, filing for an LLC, submitting your taxes, it doesn't matter.
hmm
And this has led to his TikTok profile ballooning to over 500,000 TikTok
It's
followers.
crazy.
This is an interview that I brought the pen and paper for because as I'm trying to start my own business, there's a lot of things that I can learn here too.
I
How's
got
it
mine
going
too.
today?
It's good, dude. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I think we first met on a live stream when we were doing stuff together, didn't we?
That's exactly it. I saw one of your videos and I
Cool.
was like, I'm literally going through this right now. Like,
hmm
and then I popped in. I was like, holy shit,
hmm
I'd like to talk to this man.
Most definitely, dude. Awesome. Where should we start, Austin? What do you want me to start talking about,
I
and where can we go? Because I have a
let's
lot of questions for you too.
we're gonna get to all of it. Let's for everybody who doesn't know who you are, what you're about. Could we
hmm
rewind to before you started creating content and before you started having this passion about helping people start their own business?
Yep, 100%. So what's funny is I've been like doing shit my whole life, mowing lawns or working at Fry Cook, just trying different jobs to figure out what I like to do. And ultimately I settled down in the rat race, 9 to 5, and I was working a job for the fire department. I think you can see my helmet back there, but that's where I spent 10 years of my life as a firefighter and a paramedic. But the entrepreneurship kind of never left. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There was that restlessness in there, that you feel when you're like, man, this just isn't good enough. And so the whole time I was at the fire department, I was working on projects, working on inventions, working on ideas. And one of the things that we created is the Scorch Marker. It's my wife and I's. It's our company. We created a wood burning craft product. So if you draw on wood with this marker and then apply heat, it burns into the wood only where you drew. So we had something on our hands, right? And so we were like, okay, like let's see what would happen if someone wanted to buy this. And long story short, we turned this product into a company that is now in big box retailers and Walmart and
So,
Hobby Lobby and Home
so
Shopping Network. And
you were a firefighter and you
yeah,
saw this need, like so you've always had this entrepreneur mindset. So that never left you, as you said. But then you went
correct.
into the fire department, and is
hmm
this where you identify? Like your mind was still running. You were like,
hmm
okay, okay, and then you
hmm
you were like, how did you come across this idea?
It's a good question. The When you get hired at a fire department, they put you through an academy,
Hmm.
and it is grueling, right? Hardship. And so naturally, you want to commemorate something like that. And so that's what I was trying to do. I'm a woodworker, and so I built this big, beautiful, walnut plaque, and I wanted to wood burn our motto into it. So I grabbed a soldering iron,
Hmm.
and I fucked up the whole project. I destroyed it. And because I thought I could do it. And I was like, man, this is a fucking problem. Like, there's no way to wood burn with stencils. And so my wife and I put our heads together and figured out a way to solve the problem and do it chemically using this formula. And so we just used it at that time to make the plaque, and then we forgot about it for a couple months until
So
I
you
talked
you
to
literally
another
found
fireman.
wait, so you literally like your brains, you just how did you just come across a formula? Like if I'm
It was
trying
a
to
combination of YouTube videos. I promise it wasn't just out of my brain like
yeah.
Nikola Tesla shit, dude.
Yeah, I was like, what we just taking a little bit of
Yeah.
chlorine, taking a bit of oxygen, and we make a marker that does this amazing thing. I'm like, oh my God. That's so so you came across and then you found this chemical concoction through
hmm hmm
extensive
Yeah, so
research.
we did some research on YouTube, online, and we started to narrow it down. It took us a couple days to kind of figure out, and then we had to test these chemicals out. So we went and bought them and tested it and got something that kind of worked, and we made it happen. But yeah, what's interesting is that we took that idea, and I had a conversation with a guy at work at the fire department who was a captain, and he was known for taking paracord and making Apple Watch wristbands, right? And so he came up with his own idea with an adjustable link, and he went to a company in China that he found off Alibaba, came up with a design, and then he bought a bunch. And he said, all I do is I put them in the baggies, I put a label on them, and I send them to Amazon, and I'm making 8 grand a month extra now. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? This guy's not smarter than me. Like, he doesn't
Hmm.
have more than me. Like, I can do that too. So I went online on Alibaba and I found a marker supplier with empty markers, and I bought empty markers, printed out some labels, listed them on Amazon, started filling them up one by one with a syringe, and we sold our first unit that way.
That's
It was
amazing.
crazy,
So the
all
so
from one
the
conversation.
off of that one conversation, you're like, there's
hmm
no reason I can't do this.
Correct.
And then you figured it out, and then you went and did it, and then so you then sold this first unit, and you did it all yourself. So now this is
Hmm.
your mind, your entrepreneur mind. You're
Hmm.
working at this fire department and you start selling this first product. What happens next?
So while the other guys are wrapped back in the recliners, chilling, watching TV, I'm on my laptop. I'm building, I'm working, I'm on the phone, I'm figuring things out. I spent my free time working on it because I knew there was more to life than converting hours into money.
Hmm.
And in order for me to get there, I needed to replace my pension, I needed to replace my health insurance, and I needed the cash flow. So I had to get my company to a point where it could provide those three things before I could leave. And so that's what I focused on.
Hmm. And part of the, you had mentioned it, part of being a firefighter, because I have friends who work in the NY or the New York Fire Department, and
Hmm.
they have this entrepreneur mindset as well.
Hmm.
Um, was that one of the benefits of actually being a firefighter that you had this flexible schedule?
It's funny that you bring that up. So the schedule was one part of it, and the other part of it was being a jack of all trades and a problem solver,
Hmm.
right? When someone calls 911, they're like they're having the worst day of their life usually,
Hmm.
and so it's our job to go fix that problem, whether whatever it is. And so that helps. It gets you in the mindset of solving problems. You're like, oh, I could make that better. Oh, I could fix this, and that's the train of thought you need to really kind of dig in. But I
Is
missed the second part. I
is
forgot
it,
about the
well, so
second part of
now
your question.
um I'm thinking because some of the times when I'm in a room, right, and everybody's hanging
Uh-huh.
out, I
Mhm.
have difficulty locking in. How did you, when everyone's hanging out, having a good time, and you're on your laptop, how did you stay connected on that mission?
Mm, mm. It's a combination of drive and motivation because, dude, it's so much easier just to chill and scroll on TikTok. It's so much easier just to hang out and take a nap when you don't want to get up and really study your Facebook ads to figure out why you're wasting money or stuff
Hmm.
like that, or build a website. And so it was a combination of the drive and then also the schedule, which is the second part of your question I forgot to talk about. Firefighters work 24-hour shifts. I was on 48-hour shifts. And so 20 days a month, I would be at work. The other 10, I would have off. So 10 days off a month, I had a lot of free time there to really dig in. And so that it was like a perfect storm of having the right amount of time with the job that I was working and also having the motivation to be like, nah, fuck this dude. I don't want to be like that guy. I don't want to be here for 30 years. I don't
Hmm.
want to do it. And I had to grind it, dude. I had to.
And you're grinding, you're doing all these different things. And one of an adjective that somebody that I've interviewed before, he basically said he took a cowardly leap. And how he described it is he was working his 9 to 5, he was working the rat race, and he built his own company up so much so that it wasn't a leap of faith. He described it as a cowardly leap because he was able to just step to the side. Um, you expressed that that was kind of your idea there. How did
Yes.
you juggle between your full job and then building this up so that you could then take this cowardly leap?
A lot of delegation came into play. A lot of delegation and understanding. So what's really important for someone who doesn't have the I don't want to say this. What was really important was to learn a little bit about every subject. Learn a
Hmm.
little bit about SEO, the differences between on-site, off-site, and technical. Learn a little bit about Shopify and WordPress so that you can hire the right people to help you so you can delegate to them. But if you don't know anything about these subjects and you hire these people, you're going to get duped. You're going to get duped. You don't know
Hmm.
what to ask for and what your expectation should be. And so I had to spend a lot of time learning little bits and pieces. So this is where the jack of all trades comes into play,
Hmm.
learning a little bit of all these pieces so that I could hire out and delegate those critical jobs out so that the business wouldn't be dependent on me. And that was a blessing in disguise because a lot of people struggle with that. Their businesses are them and they are their businesses. And I was forced to remove myself in case they sent me on a fire for a month. Like, what was I going to do? I can't ship product on a
Hmm.
fire line. So I needed to figure out how to put a 3PL in place to ship my products for me.
And
It's really interesting.
so you were forced to, because that's one of the things that, yeah, it's like, this is my baby. How could I possibly give somebody shipping if, because they might mess it up? And I think that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
hardest parts is hiring the right people. So
Mm-hmm.
your advice for somebody who's trying to hire a specific role is basically just understand enough that you're able to vet the right candidate
Yeah.
and
Yep. And then if somebody can do it 80% as well as you and you can afford to pay them, fucking do it.
do
Buy your
it.
time back.
And how do you, once you're, because part of this is vetting them, what is your
Yeah.
process from I have a need to finding that person?
Hmm. That's a tough question because it's different in every category. But I start first with the people that I know do good work. So, for example, Austin, I know you know people that take pride in their work, will always do the right thing, and will not quit until the job is done right. Right? You know those people. Those people know other people with the same mentality. So
Hmm.
you need to find a worker to get you into the world of like good people. And once you're into that world, like let's say it's a web designer that's just is badass. I'm going to go to my web designer and ask them for referrals because they have the qualities that I know would be sought after.
Hmm.
And so
So
that's where I start.
you find that source and then you dig a little deeper. Now, one of the things I guess from my side is you had said it, if you can afford them.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot, unfortunately or fortunately, if you do good work, you can charge money,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just how it goes. How do you trade off between paying more for a maybe a better worker or paying less? Like, how do you go through that process of optimizing the that scale?
Let's talk about the quintessential video editor dilemma, right? Every
We're all
single
there.
content creator has a video editor dilemma. We just have more content that we can edit. And editors in the United States are doing the same thing, creating a business around it. And they charge 200 bucks a video, 30 bucks an hour. Like it's not feasible to farm that out. So you have to broaden your pool of candidates. And
Hmm.
then you have to put systems and processes in place to make sure that the new candidates know what to do. So let me give you an example. I will take the exact criteria of how I edit my videos and what happens, and I create a master document that outlines every single step to follow, the aspect ratio, the color grading, the transitions, the file destinations, all of it. And then I go to somebody who manages workers from overseas. And then I go into Colombia where the workers are earning a living wage at $6 an hour. Or I go
Hmm.
to Kenya where $3 an hour is badass. And I hire video editors who have basic skills and speak English. And I say, here's what I want done. Can you do it? I interview them. If I like their attitude and I feel like they're teachable and work with me, then I'll outsource it, the knowledge work at least, to another country and pay significantly less by my standards,
Right.
but a living wage for their standards, and that's what works for me.
So then that's it's funny because literally everyone has this dilemma. It's the editing dilemma. And that's one of the questions that, because I have the dilemma. And I was speaking with someone yesterday, and the term programmatically is used because people think that that just means you're writing code. But he expressed it that no, it actually means programmatically writing down the steps that you do, because a program at the end of the day is just a process that follows steps continuously. So you programmatically break down everything you do from the
Mm-hmm.
aspect ratio to the export format. So that way somebody who really doesn't really know what you want could just go boom, boom, like one by one by one,
Yep.
and really anybody can do it.
Yep. And these aren't my ideas. I read this in a book. Like it's all of my knowledge comes from audiobooks, mentors, experience. Like, so none of these are original thoughts. I read that in the E-Myth Revisited. Great book.
E-Myth Revisited.
Oh yeah, great book.
I got to write that one down. So you're able to outsource, and you're able to
Mm-hmm.
figure this out. You're finding whether it's for cheaper employees through programmatically identifying exactly what you need, or
Yep.
it's some things that you think are a little bit more hands-on, a little more soft skills where you need to pay a little bit more of a premium. And you're in your firefighter job and you're doing this on
Mm-hmm.
the side, but you have to outsource. At what point
Mm-hmm.
did you say it's time? It's time for me to quit and go full time.
Yeah, last Christmas. Last
Last
Christmas it was.
Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. I was at the fire table. I was at the fire station, and we were having our morning coffee crew exchanges. Everybody gathers at the dining table to have coffee in the morning, and we get a pass down report. We bullshit and whatnot. And captain walks in, and he's like, "Hey, bro, chief just called. You're forced on Christmas. Sorry, bro. You got to work." And I was like, "Actually, I quit. Fuck you. You're cool. Fuck you." And I had a little joke about it. It was funny. We had a good time
Yeah.
because we're all buddies. You know what I mean?
Right,
I
right,
was like,
right.
but in all seriousness, I need you to help me put in my 2 weeks. I'm not going to be there for that. I'm out of here. And he's like, okay, man, I'll help you out. But the reason why I was able to do that is because I ran the numbers and I put a plan in place, right? I ran the numbers with my wife and we figured out how to replace our pension using a combination of Roth IRAs, brokerage accounts, and SEP IRAs, right?
Hmm.
And so I didn't want to leave unless my pension was twice as good, right? Twice as good. Then I had to buy health insurance. So I talked to my insurance broker and was like, all right, I need a high deductible health insurance plan that is really good. And I want it to be HSA eligible so I could have a health savings account and invest the money there too. Take a tax write off. Boom, got it done. Now the only other thing was to replace $24 an hour in salary. Easy, dude. That's what I was paying my employees. And so then I just put myself on payroll and walked my happy ass out and still talk to some of my friends, but I haven't looked back, dude.
That's
It's been great.
amazing. That's the dream that like so many people have in their
Hmm.
head. They're like, you joked about it. It's like the fuck you, like you're cool, the fuck you. Like
Yeah.
that's the dream. And so the Christmas thing, I guess that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, it was like, no, I'm not missing any more Christmases with my kids. I'm not missing any more birthdays. I'm not missing any more holidays. I'm not missing any more recitals or plays. I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna be present. And now I am a badass dad, and I get to spend every single day with my kids, and everything was worth
I love it. Badass dad with a mustache, I will add.
it. Yeah.
So this is last Christmas,
Yeah,
which
man.
talk about a present for your kids. Like, hey, I'm gonna like that's the best Christmas present. Even though they might want the
That's fun.
PS5 or the PS4, whatever it is, that was truly the best Christmas present you could provide them.
Yeah.
And now, so this is a relative less than a year old mission that
Mhm.
you've been on. So you're figuring out on the fly. What were some of the first things when you made that leap that you were like, oh shit, this was the right decision, or it was like, oh shit, this was the wrong decision?
Hmm. Let's see here. There wasn't any point. There's always been uncertainty, and there will always be, right? So,
Hmm.
I know now in my heart of hearts it was the right decision. But there's an aspect of camaraderie that can only be created when you're doing blue collar work with some other like-minded individuals, right? And that camaraderie you'll find doesn't really exist in the knowledge worker and blue white collar industries. And
Hmm.
so that was the hardest part. That was the hardest part to deal with, was losing out on that second friend family that I had. But but every single day that I'm part of the daily routine, every single day that I can devote myself and get 1% better, it's like, oh wow, this is winning, dude. Like seriously, like multiple times a week I look at my wife and I'm like, could you imagine if I was in the fire department right now? And she's like, fuck that, you'd be gone right now, it's summertime, California's burning. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, I would be gone. Like, so I'm happy no matter how hard it gets being here with the family. And it was worth it. It was worth it, dude.
Hmm.
It's, yeah.
And yeah, the camaraderie in terms of things that are not replace, but like camaraderie, missing that is better than, I guess, the financial stress or the financial
Yes.
burden. So
Yes.
of course it's difficult to replicate that, but being able to say that that's what you miss most is probably a good sign because that
Hmm.
means that these other things are coming into place. How have
Yeah.
you seen because you now had you took this away from you, this full-time gig, and now you went full
Hmm.
steam ahead. How did you see your business grow by this decision?
Oh, that's a really good question. I like that, Austin. Scorch Marker, the company that we were running, I just talked to you guys about, it got a
Hmm.
lot more attention, and it got a lot more love, and things started to go smoother and run better, and which was nice. Less fragmented because I was removed from the equation for days at a time, you know? I
Hmm.
was able to make more meetings. But where it really excelled was in my personal brand and the other projects. That's where things really started to take off because I had all this time freed up now, and now I could come up with a way to monetize my audience and put education out there. Now I
Hmm.
can take the money that we're making in profits and invest it in other projects, other inventions, other companies. And
Hmm.
so that's where we've seen leaps and bounds of growth. And it's been totally worth it.
And is that something that because you can't necessarily envision that. I mean, you can, but it's hard to know
Hmm.
what an unchained, uncuffed business can do. Was there any way you planned for that? Like, okay, month one, I'm going to try and do this without because you were planning for this,
Hmm.
leaving this full-time gig. Was there any way that you truly put together like a roadmap or something on how you were going to grow this with your extra time, or was it more, all right, let's figure it out?
It was the second. All right, let's
It,
figure it out.
it
I
was
would
a.
love to tell you that I put in like a quarterly and monthly like rocks. I didn't. I didn't. But I am reading a book about it right now, and I'm very excited to put that into play. It's called
uh,
Traction.
about putting together plans.
Yeah, measurable goals, coming up with the plans, and then working backwards from your end goal.
Hmm. So now you get this time and you're able to invest back into other businesses. I like to
Hmm.
call it making a series of small bets. I try and have
Yeah.
as many small bets as possible, and then hoping that one hits. If the others don't hit, so be it. Now you have this time to invest in yourself. What were the projects that you decided we're going to take this money and we're going to invest it here?
Good question. So the way I look at it is money is energy in a sense. It's an instrument of change. And so if I can take that instrument of change or that money, I can sprinkle it over here, sprinkle some over there. Sometimes it grows and comes back to me. Sometimes it fizzles out and dies away. And what I was trying to do was take a little bit of that energy and sprinkle it on these different projects to see how much I could get to come back to me. So we invested into a cryptocurrency project where I run a Tezos node. We have an Ethereum node we're putting online. Right. I have a product company that I can't talk about yet. I want to really bad. It's an accessory product, but I'm recording a whole YouTube series so people can watch me build a product from the ground up. And
I'm
then
looking forward to
we have
that.
another. It's gonna be fun, dude. And then I have another product as a doorstop that we just finished the prototypes on, and we're gonna get ready to go to molding soon. Really fun. And then I have my personal brand where I'm sharing all these things I learned on the way, building businesses and reading books and making mistakes. And so all of these arms, all of these are different revenue streams,
Hmm.
including the real estate and the investments and the long-term and short-term stuff that we do. The reason I bring all this up, Austin, is because my goal is to become financially immortal. I do not want to be able to be killed by an economic event. Crashing real estate can't kill me. You can take away a revenue stream, but all these other revenue streams are going to keep coming in. And that's my goal. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, sprinkling around these little projects, like you said.
I love that. Economically or immortal. I love that
Financially
term.
immortal.
Financially immortal. I love that term.
Yes.
One term that decentralize your income. The same way
Oh,
that
dude, that's so good.
the same way that Bitcoin is stable. If it had a single validator, then it could get shut down at any point. Whereas by having multiple um,
Hmm.
confirmers across the network, if you take one out, we're still here. We're still alive here.
That's
And
100% correct.
all those products, and they're like not all over the place, but there isn't a you're making a doorstop, you're running
Hmm.
ETH and Tezos nodes, you got
Hmm.
real estate, and
Hmm.
this goes back to how you were explaining that you're really a jack of all trades. Do you
Hmm.
find that spreading yourself, you sometimes spread yourself too thin, or how do you juggle that from like a mental capacity standpoint?
I have to put my ideas through a series of tests before I give them any more energy because I will do that, dude. I have this idea muscle that I exercise, and so I have a torrent of ideas coming through my mind right now.
Hmm.
And occasionally I'll reach in and I'll grab one and I'll look at it, and then I'll come up with some ideas, and then I run them by my wife, and then if they pass the wife test, and then I put them through my short form business plan builder and just answer 12 questions about it to see if it makes sense, and then I run it by my network and my buddies and whatnot, and occasionally one slips through where I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, let's do this. But occasionally, like the doorstop I'm working on with my dad, for example, like it's an invention that we came up with together. And so that's like, okay, let's go, let's do this. And then, like the cryptocurrency projects come out of love for cryptocurrency and
Hmm.
my thing. And then real estate, I mean, I had to learn all about building construction in the fire department. I've been a woodworker for many years. Like, why not build a tiny house and then get some short-term cash flow out of it? Like,
That's
let's
what
fucking go.
the real estate thing is. I'm in real estate myself. I have a couple of Airbnbs. I love the
Hmm.
whole real estate game. Now, you built a tiny house and you then rent it out on Airbnb?
That's the plan. That's the
That's the
plan. So
plan.
we just bought our home up in Northern California in the Redwood
Hmm.
Forest. And so what better place to have a destination themed Airbnb? Like, bro, like, would you want to come to a Pokemon center in the woods and hunt for Pokemon and trip out and have
I'm
a great time?
I'm there
Like,
already mentally, not
duh.
physically, but mentally
Yeah.
I'm there.
Right?
That
Like
sounds
imagine a
amazing.
tiny house with a acrylic roof where you could see the treetops and look up into the sky. Something special. That's
Hmm.
what I want to build so that we can create. I can leverage my knowledge of e-commerce, my following and the attention that I have, and really help drive traffic into a short-term rental that I can then cost segregate and use to save a bunch of money on taxes.
I love it. I love the idea. And you know who girls love Instagramming in the tiny houses with their boyfriends. That it's ready to print money,
Yes, dude.
as they say.
Yep.
I'm
Yep. And I'm very
excited.
excited about it.
Now, okay, so walk me through you're starting this door stopper business with your dad.
Hmm.
Walk me
Hmm.
through the inception of the idea to getting product to market.
Okay, so the first thing that we had was an idea, right, in our heads, and then we had to make it real. And so that means we get in the workshop and we bend some metal and we make it work. We create a prototype, a functioning prototype. And then we start testing it with people, friends, family. And if we get their approval, then okay, let's ask someone we don't know. And so we'll take this doorstop and we'll go put it in a physical therapist office and see what they think. And the feedback we got was overwhelming. Where can we buy this? When can we get more? Like, we want more. Like, this person wants to order one. It's like, okay, we got something here. We got something here. Now we have to figure out how to mass produce it and how to, distribute a product like that. So the first thing that has to happen after the prototype is you have to make a digital version of it. You need a 3D model, and you're going to have to use an industrial designer to do that. Someone's got to mock it up in CAD.
Hmm.
And then you have to 3D print it, test it, see what needs to be fixed, and do this over and over again until it is solid and you have the final product. Now you have a working final prototype. Then you can go to a manufacturer and be like, hey, bro, can you make this for me? Because this is my plan. And they say yes or no. And you keep asking until you find someone that can make it at the right price. Then you design packaging. You come up with a website where you can, do kind of like a pre-launch and test the waters with a little bit of ad
Hmm.
spend on a sold out listing to collect some emails and see what kind of interest you're getting. All 4 Hour Work Week stuff by Tim Ferriss. And yeah, man. And then you can go from there and figure out, who your customer is going to be, how you're going to launch it, how you're going to make revenue, break down all your revenue streams and start to build brick by brick by brick. And that's really how it works. But
Hmm.
you have to have the beginning stages fleshed out. And that's where a lot of people get hung up, is because they don't know who to go to. They don't know what comes next. And oftentimes it starts costing more money than you originally anticipated.
Right. And one of the things I think you touched on there was you were trying to find a product market fit as early as possible, as
Yes.
cheap as possible. That's why
Yes.
you shared it with friends, then you shared
Yes.
it with somebody, the physical therapy department, and you're seeing if there
Mm-hmm.
is this interest. Because if there's interest on this micro level, you can anticipate this interest on the macro level.
Mm-hmm.
This was something physical
Mm-hmm.
okay, it has some it makes sense. I guess it's a little bit more easy to envision, right? That creation.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips for identifying a subject or a product market fit for something entirely digital or on the internet alone?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first and foremost, you need to figure out what problem you're solving. That's really, really important to really narrow it down and figure out, like, what problem am I solving? And then, have a solution for that problem. But how do I want to put this? Online is a little bit more difficult because you don't have a physical, presence and whatnot. But I found that things work best for me when I'm like, for instance, I launched a business school, right?
Hmm.
How do you get feedback on that? I reached out to everybody and I was like, bro, I am seeking 3 pieces of negative feedback only. I don't want to hear anything positive about this thing. I want you to give me 3 things that I can do better. And over and over and over. Hey, I'll give you free access and you give me 3 things I can do better. And I did that for months, dude. Months. I had people give me negative feedback, because negative feedback in the end is the only thing that's going to help me get better. I listened, I made some changes, and then I launched it. And then I continue to listen to negative feedback. And so I pay attention to Amazon reviews and upset customers and negative Facebook comments. Like, I'm in there. I want to know,
Hmm.
because then I can fix it.
For the
So
product itself. So
yeah,
the
so that's
negative,
that's the really important with a digital item.
yeah, for the negative, people they're so hung up and they like getting positive reviews. And the the thing is that people leaving reviews don't like giving negative reviews because a lot of times you're sharing it with somebody and you have a relationship with them
Hmm.
and they think that they're going to maybe hurt that. But in fact, you're trying to improve a product and hey, this
Hmm.
is great is is has no value. What has value is hey, this onboarding form was confusing. Chapter
Yep. My
2 was
hmm
terrible. Like,
my
but
email's really long and it got cut off in the text box. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. And by you prefixing it with "I need 3 negative things," rather than just
Hmm.
feedback, you isolate it and you get set expectations that you want negative
Hmm.
feedback. So that way
Yes.
they can't come back to you, or they can't feel bad if they're giving you negative feedback because that's in
Hmm.
fact the only thing that you're looking for. And I think that alone is just how you frame it from getting
Hmm.
this is a beautiful way to identify where you can improve because where you're good isn't what you do these things for.
It's true. Yeah, it's
And
very true. And I don't know if you've found this too, Austin, but like, when you have an idea, do you tell a lot of people about it, or do you want to play it close to the chest so someone doesn't take it
personally, I try and
personally?
tell probably like 5 or 10 people that I'm closer with
Hmm.
about the idea.
Hmm.
Um, and then if they're about it, then like, okay, let's go to the next step. But I'm always hesitant to ask like a million people because if you
Hmm.
ask a million people, I feel like you're gonna get it like kind of spreads out the value. So I try and lean on people that I truly care about their opinion.
Hmm.
And then I go to those people. What about you?
And people that will give you a real opinion too, I bet,
Yeah,
huh?
I don't need to share it with,
Yeah.
my friend that I haven't spoke to in like 6 months, like or something
Yeah.
like that. I'd rather share it with the people that I'm already in business with, the
Hmm.
people that they'll give it to me straight because I don't need yes men, I don't need yes women. I need
Correct.
people that like that's a shit idea. You should not,
Yeah.
because time time is valuable, and the quicker
Mhm.
you can fail, the better in my eyes.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. And the reason I brought this up initially is because so many people are afraid to talk about things, and I was too for so long. I'm like, man, I just don't want to talk about this. I don't. I'm afraid someone's going to take my idea. And the more that I read, the more people that I talked to in the same situation, like seasoned people who've been through this, they're like, bro, it's the opposite. You got to tell everybody about it. You know why? Because none of them are you. They don't have the whole picture. They don't know the product market fit. They don't know where to source it, how to market it. They don't have to drive. They're fucking busy, dude. They don't fucking care. They're not going
Hmm.
to stop everything they're doing to take your one in a million idea. And I'm like, it's a good point. He's like, bro, how many businesses have ideas have you decided to steal from people? I'm like, none. I'm like, exactly. Get it out there. Talk to people. Practice your elevator pitch. Take the feedback on the chin. Look at people's eyebrows when they're like, you did what? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so
That
it's a mindset change though, you know?
it's so true,
Hard.
because I was the same thing, where it's like, oh, this is the next Amazon. And
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, Austin, it is not the next Amazon. And if it is, it's not going to become the next Amazon unless you talk to people and you get feedback, because
Hmm.
no, like, hey, John, like, here's my idea. Oh, I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and steal Austin's idea. That's just not going to happen. And one of
Yep.
the things that why I like, so you're in content creation as well, and that's part of growing your
Hmm.
brand, and that's part of
Hmm.
this entrepreneur, that's the world we live in. You are your
Hmm.
market. You can create your own audience, which is a truly beautiful
Hmm.
thing. But one of the things why I love content creation is, once you start posting, and once you start, like, just hitting the send button, you start realizing a couple of things. One, that it's not that hard, and that you can share your opinion and you can ask people, and that leads to being less hesitant to sharing your idea to others. And number two, like, failure, it happens every single day that you post a video, every single day. So you just get so much
Yes.
more like, you're just so much more ready to fail, because when you know it, when you post on TikTok,
Hmm.
you'll be like, this one's viral. This one's going
Hmm.
viral, and then
Every
it
time.
doesn't go
I
viral.
say it every time.
It's like, this one's it. This one's it. There's no way this doesn't go viral. 20 views.
Yep.
It's so funny, and it's beautiful about content creation. Now, so when did you decide to get into content creation? Because that leap, for a lot of people, everybody has to make that leap. Like, what's the story behind you first getting behind the camera and deciding, my face is going to be in front of the world?
If you scroll back on my TikTok feed, you can see that I was originally making videos about firefighting. The first time I picked up TikTok was when I was out on a fire. I was on an assignment out in Yucca Valley. No, not Yucca. It was out in the desert, dude. Lots of yucca trees. Anyways, the whole valley was on fire. It was my job to shuttle water and fill up the helicopters so they could do water drops. And so as a helicopter's coming in, I'm like, snap a video, put it up on TikTok, make something funny about it, and boom, attention. And this is the first time I've used social media, mind you, like for like on my own, like just
Hmm.
fucking around. And I was like, whoa, dude, the potential here is insane. And so I was like, what if I started talking about shit that I actually cared about? Let's see what happens. So I did. I started talking about Facebook pixels and LLCs and S corps and business structures, and people fucking cared. And I was like, whoa, dude, people care about this. You throw Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V book on the fire at that point, and I'm all in. I'm all in. And so I put myself out there and started creating content, and very nervous, ball of just intense, bound up energy. And my voice faltered, and I didn't like the way that I sounded. I didn't like the way that I looked, and I didn't have a good place to record. But eventually, 2 months in, 60 videos later, you can see I found my voice. It's there. And I found out
Hmm.
who I was. And then my authenticity and my personality started to come through. And that's when good things started to happen. But it took a little bit of time for me to get over that initial hump and find my voice. And I think something similar happens to a lot of people.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's funny how you start, and then people, they're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
look at his videos now. They look amazing. I could never do that. But I challenge people, scroll down on the TikTok, like you were saying. Don't look at today. Scroll down, look at your first video, and it's like, could you do that? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Okay.
That's why I tell people just start like right now. Let's do a video right now. And like, there you go, bro. Worst one's out of the way. It's only gonna get better from here.
Literally, like, and it's from, like, my end, it's just funny how and you'll see that it grows, because you'll start. it's like a muscle. It's like a content creation muscle. And you
Yeah.
said that you started, you were like a little, you didn't have your voice. And we're still
Hmm.
finding we're figuring out our voice every day. But
Yep.
like I started making Snapchat videos. I would send them out every Friday to like all my boys and be like, "Yo, what are we doing this weekend? Like, are we getting
Hmm.
drunk? Like, where are we going? Like, what's good for the
Yes.
weekend?" And then that went to like instead of just sending it to my boys, I would send it like to more people on my Snapchat list. And then that became like literally everyone on my Snapchat list. And then that became like an Instagram story. And then that became an Instagram story every week. And then that became a TikTok video, which then became like, and now we're doing like, we're really making videos every day and everything. And
I
people
love
see
it,
it
dude.
like this unachievable hump. But the only thing that you need to do is just send one video and then hit post and
That's
then
it.
come back tomorrow.
That's it, man. You just gotta put yourself out there. You gotta give people the opportunity to find you. And if you never make content, then no one will ever be able to find you.
Hmm. And what are some of the, so you started this, when did you first make that fire TikTok?
Probably like it's probably somewhere around September, November, October time.
Of 2020?
2020, yeah. Yeah, I got on TikTok in 2020. Wait. Oh shit. No, 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 not that late. It wasn't that late. It was earlier. Okay, that's right. I got on TikTok just before the pandemic around like February, March.
Hmm.
And so right when the pandemic happened, we had an influx of users on TikTok. And
Oh
I
yeah.
just happened to start creating content at the same time. So I was able to ride that wave up. I'm very aware of that. It was me, and then a handful of other creators that I've become close with that we've all had the same kind of like rise up with TikTok at the same time. And we talk about it all the time, but we become friends over it. I don't know. Have you noticed something similar?
The for well, so TikTok. So for me, I'm in crypto. Like that's my
Okay.
niche.
Okay.
So I'm with the same group of guys that we
Yeah.
basically we came up together because crypto TikTok didn't really exist
Yeah.
necessarily before like us, the group of us
Hmm.
created, and we call
Hmm.
ourselves like Crypto Avengers, whatever. Name is still
Hell yeah.
we're still figuring out the name, but like it is funny because we our profiles grew together. Then we went to like Bitcoin Miami together, and now in terms of the crypto TikTok realm, I have relationships with all these people because it's a
Hmm.
smaller community than you would think.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
the one that's one of the things. Could you outline some of the doors that being a content creator has opened since you've started doing it?
Blows my mind, to be honest with you, the doors it opens. Especially if I get on like TikTok or something and I message another creator that I like and I'm like, hey man, let's be friends. I think you're really cool. Like, want to hang out? And they're like, bro, I love your stuff. Like, yeah. And I'm like, what? I watch your stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit of clout to open the door. So they're like, okay, is this guy legit? Let's find out. Like a little bit of curiosity. It helps with the door opening. And then I can just let myself do the rest. But man, dude, I'm glad you brought that up because having some sort of social clout,
Hmm.
having just a little bit of a following and proven track record of giving good information out there, it opens up doors, man. You could send a DM to somebody and get a better response than a random person, I'm sure, because of what you've done with your
Right.
brand, and
Well,
it
this
becomes
this
useful.
conversation right now is a prime example of what you were just saying. Like we touched on it earlier, but I was on one of your lives and I was like, "Yo, I love your content.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to chat." And who knows if this conversation, frankly, probably doesn't happen unless I had whatever my social clout was. And it
Hmm.
opened this door to have this conversation, and then who knows where this will lead, and then on by either party. And you meet these people, and what you realize is that the creators like behind the door there's no difference between any of us
Right.
there's really no difference, so you start bullshitting and you start realizing, hey, we're all trying to figure this out together, and the community aspect
Hmm.
of it is so much more welcoming and like arms open than I really could have imagined, because everyone's trying to grow together. It's not a zero sum
Hmm.
game. In fact, it's the
Correct.
opposite.
Yes.
um,
I agree with you on that, man. I really
so
do. I think
we,
it's
we
well said.
touched on we touched on kind of where you are today, your past. um, where do you think the future's going?
I'm going to own an asteroid mining company called Juke Limited.
I'm ready for it. How are we
Yep.
getting there?
So it's not going to take place probably till in the 2030s. But look, we talked about money being an instrument of change, right? And so my job is to get the fucking money. I got to get it. I got to get it, and I have to do it the right way. Get the money the right way. You know,
Hmm.
I don't want to say just get the money once they get it the right way, because that's a very important distinction to make. And the reason I want to get the money is so that I can make changes, so that I can hire the right people and build the correct infrastructure and really exert my vision, my worldview on the world. I really do. I think
Hmm.
it's great, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. And the people I don't agree with, I would encourage them to do the same thing too, because we need more contrasting worldviews. We need more diversity in
Hmm.
business, and we don't have that. We have a few controlling parties that run the show for everything. And I want a seat at the table, man. I want a seat at the table, and I want to leave a lasting impact on this planet. For I want my great grandkids to be watching my videos and talking about
Oh yeah.
grandpa who fucking broke out of the rat race and catapulted our family into the next dimension of living. And in order to do that, I have to learn what I need to learn. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm learning and implementing so that I can create this financial immortality, right?
Hmm.
Decentralized revenue streams, and build up an empire where I can have enough money to make changes and really accelerate my dreams, goals, visions, and like hopes. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so there's processes and steps that go in place. There's a lot of goal setting. There's a lot of revisiting goals. There's a lot of to-do lists and planning and, stress, but it's all working towards a greater good where I can leave some lasting impact.
Hmm. That's an exciting thing, the lasting impact, because like from my end, you can make an impact around you, but how do you make a true
Sure.
impact?
Hmm.
You need scale, and you need size, and you need dinero, you
Hmm.
need the money to do it.
You do.
And you said the Astro, that's happening in 2030. What are
Yeah,
you
so
what's the
we
business
haven't
plan
gotten
there?
to a point of mass production for spacecraft yet. We're
Hmm.
still building them one-offs, right? Remember when my buddy Josh Terry talks about this the other day. You remember when Henry Ford brought up the Model T and the assembly line, and it revolutionized the industrial America. It revolutionized the way we produce goods here,
Hmm.
and we do that with every single thing: microchips, medicine, cars. We have yet to do that with spaceships, with space travel and vehicles that will get us into outer orbit. And so the infrastructure isn't there, the systems aren't there, but I'm going to get rich and smart, and I'm going to be able to take advantage of it and play a part when that happens. So as soon as we have the ability to mass produce these items, that's when my plans come into play. And by then, I'll have practiced so many times that I'll have a fleshed out business plan, and people are not going to not want to give me money to make it happen.
So you're anticipating the future. You're seeing where the puck is going, not where the puck is today, as Gretzky always says. Now,
Yes, get to where
I
it's
see
going.
that
I love that.
you make some crypto content. I would love to
I
get
do.
your thoughts on the future of cryptocurrency and
Mhm.
how you see it cha potentially changing the world.
Well, what's really interesting is eventually we're going to have global Wi-Fi. We don't have that yet. We're not connected yet. I can't talk to people in the Sahara Desert right now via satellite internet. We just can't.
Hmm.
And once we have everybody's connected via satellite internet, which will happen soon, we're going to need a global payment system. Fiat's not going to work across borders. And so once people are connected online and have the ability to communicate, they will absolutely need the ability to pay each other without using a third party. And that's when crypto, I think, is really going to provide a ton of utility for the planet and be able to really serve our needs as a population. Now, there are a lot of different projects out there that I don't believe in. There's a lot of projects that I do like. I tend to go invest in individual blockchains, right?
Hmm.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tezos, Cardano, things like that, that have their own separate workings. I don't go too heavy in projects within ecosystems of
Okay.
blockchains, but I do like to anticipate where I think that consumers are going. And the metaverse is something that is in my mind. It's happening. But Ready Player One is going to happen whether we like it or not. And do you want to be a part of it? Or do
Hmm.
you not want to be a part of it? And I so badly want to be a part of that. And so that's where a lot of my focus is in general crypto knowledge, dollar cost averaging into Satoshis and Ethereum, and then
Oh yeah.
running just a few projects that I can maintain my grip on the ecosystem. Yeah, it's the NFT stuff like that and whatnot, but I don't go too hard into altcoins anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah, what
think
about yourself?
that's a lot of my strategy. So my strategy is I have Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are I try and work backwards into those two in a sense that
Hmm.
all of my other games, basically, gambling at the end of the day, it's a goal to increase the total Bitcoin that I have and the total Ethereum that I have.
Hmm.
In terms of my altcoin, so Ethereum I kind of put in not an altcoin anymore, if you want to call it an altcoin, dealer's choice. But I have these blue chip altcoins that a lot of it is in DeFi.
Hmm.
So that's a bet that I think is going to happen soon. And I think when you're using these ecosystems, like the other day, I was able to borrow a couple $1,000s in seconds at a very small interest rate, which was normally held for people that are financially elite. But this, there's no barrier of entry. There's no
Was it like
minimum.
Aave or what? I'm just
Aave.
curious.
Aave is what I
Okay.
used. I used
Okay.
Aave, but I used it on Polygon,
Okay.
so that the fees are actually cheaper. Otherwise, because on Aave, the main net, you basically need to be playing with a lot of money to get in and out of positions because of the gas. So I do it on Polygon. So that's where I'll take out loans, and then I'll invest in other altcoins so that I don't have to sell my Ethereum, so that I can speculate on other altcoins without selling the Ethereum and then invest accordingly. And then I have so a lot of it is on the Ethereum network, and then the other network that I'm betting on is Solana. So I have
I got
those
some of
are
that too.
that's seen a nice little run up. I'm sure we're both happy about that. But the
Hmm.
yeah, so the crypto world, I can talk for hours. I obviously talk for hours on it. That's what
I'd
gets
like
me
to have that conversation with you sometime. Talk a little
yeah,
bit more about crypto, get a little deeper.
for
But
sure.
I have some NFT project ideas. We're not talking like profile pic NFTs. I'm talking a little bit different. I'd like to get your
Hmm.
opinion on them.
For sure. I think I part of what yeah, these conversations, I'm looking forward to having a conversation, quote unquote, offline with you so that
Hmm.
I can pick your brain a little bit more because there's a ton of things that we touched on today. One of my last questions, right? This is going to be a little bit personal and
Hmm.
well, from a business side, not too personal, but
Hit
we
me,
got
dude.
a lot of people who are part of the incubator in here, which is a
Hmm.
community of people that we're trying to help people learn about crypto. So beginners, really anybody to get into the crypto realm, and we're trying to grow this
Hmm.
business out. Um, my question for you is, what would be your process in either auditing or trying to figure out how to improve the incubator business?
I would ask you a series of questions to understand what the end goal is. And I would ask you a series of questions to figure out where you are currently. And then I would ask you a series of questions to figure out where your pain points are, right? A lot of listening. A lot of listening has to happen. And I'd let you just vomit all this on me. And I would listen into what you wanted to accomplish. And then I would break it down into couple different categories of actionable steps that we would need to take. Like maybe we need to put some systems in place. Maybe we
Hmm.
need to get some financial systems in place, right? Maybe we need to mitigate your tax liabilities, stuff like that. Maybe we have personnel issues. Maybe we need to remove Austin from the business a little bit by
Hmm.
putting SOPs and procedures in place so that underlings can follow them down to the letter. Or, maybe it's just as simple as, fleshing out the marketing arm and how you present yourself online. And so it would be a whole multitude of certain things, but I would first start with the stuff that I could lend the most insight on, the expert and expertise on, which would be, the structures and systems and whatnot.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, a lot of listening, but totally doable. And it's so cool to have an outside, fresh opinion sometimes.
It really is, and I think one of the takeaways from my end is this dilemma from creating content and editing the content, and that's really creating a programmatic approach that really anybody
Hmm.
can do. And then, so in terms of immediate deliverables, without even knowing it, you had provided me with a way to help the incubator, and that
Hell
is
yeah.
amazing in its own right. So I appreciate you for hopping on today, getting to know a little bit about you. I think there's a lot that I can learn from you, and hopefully I can maybe teach you a thing or two. So I'm
Oh,
looking
yes,
forward
dude.
to
Oh, yeah.
seeing where this relationship can go. And thank you again for hopping on here. I know everybody in the chat on my end, they've loved what you've been talking about. A lot of people are like, "This is an awesome conversation. I like both of their content. Having the two of us talking on a live stream that has a lot of value for a lot of people. So thank you so much
Hell yeah,
for
dude.
hopping on here and joining the incubator. And I'm looking forward to seeing you grow because I think how you present yourself and how genuine you are in your videos and now how it comes off when you're
Thank you.
actually having a full conversation. That's something that at least I've noticed. Some creators it's a little bit less, and then some it's a little bit more. So I think from your end, it's extremely obvious that it's the latter. So that means to me that I think there's really no direction but up. So I'm looking forward to that, and
I
I
appreciate
can't
that,
wait to
Austin.
see what happens.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed talking to you. We talked about some interesting subjects. You asked some fantastic questions, dude. You're quite good at this. And so I hope you continue on this trajectory because, your podcast and those interviews that I see you doing, like, it's it's badass, dude.
I
Keep it up.
appreciate
And
that.
we'll connect offline and share some more facts, and we'll do this again sometime soon.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, chat. Have a great day, you guys.